Good evening once and again, everyone. I think you've been very patient audience with the two panel discussion. I have a privilege of doing this fireside chat with Nimesh. Nimesh have been a great friend and acquaintance for very long. We worked together also in ICICI for some time. So Nimesh is absolutely a phenomenal leader. He's done great job in taking ICICI Prudential Asset Management Company to a greater heights. I have known him, how closely he's been working with the different stakeholders, including his customers, employees, and also the industry. He's been MP head also. So thank you so much, Nimesh,
It's
for
always a
joining
pleasure.
us. Yep. See, when you are here, it will be unfair if I do not ask you about the asset management company. Uh, this space have been growing leaps and bounds from really 25 lakh crore in 2020 to now almost 82 lakh crores of assets, and about 10 crore investors doing SIPs and 31,000 crore rupees of SIP. AUM has grown, the number of folios have grown leaps and bounds. What do you think, as one of the largest, managing largest asset management company in India, what do you think are the differentiated capabilities you need to achieve further scale in this space?
Actually, the industry has grown very well. Like, if you see 10 years back, we were 10% of the banking industry. Today, we are almost one third of the banking industry. So the industry has grown well, but how it has grown well and why it has grown well. I think one of the brilliant thing that, and I give a lot of credit to the regulator for this, in the sense the way mutual fund regulations have happened. We can have a debate on our profitability, everything, but there is no debate that the product is a very transparent product, good for the final customer. Right? We can have a product, whether it is very profitable, is it profitable for the AMC, is it profitable for the distributor, but there is no debate that the product is very good for the final investor. So this industry has grown because of brilliant regulations and creating a product which is very nice for the customer. And based on that, if you see the customer experience, in 2018, I'll just give you in context, 10 years back, we were 10% of the banking industry. Today, we are one third of the banking industry as an industry. In 2018, we were celebrating that we had 1 crore customers. Today, we have got 6 crore customers. Why this has happened? Because you have got a set of a product which is very pure for the final customer, a, a customer set which has grown and has had a positive experience investing with mutual funds, right? So you've got a happy customer, and happy customer leads to growth. And the growth is very systematic in nature. If you see every month on month, we are growing. And any industry which has grown on a customers, which is customer centric, and with the growth of the industry, the customer has benefited. That is why this I see this growth happening and continuing.
Yeah, for any product or proposition to be successful, what we need is a reach and richness of offer. So to that extent, I definitely resonate with what Nimesh said, that the compelling proposition of mutual funds and the construct of the mutual fund have been so much favorable to the investors that it has got the resonance and acceptance with the customers. As you mentioned, Nimesh, that regulators have been really constructive, and they've also been encouraging the innovation. So we've seen introduction of SIF, specialized investment schemes, and now even REITs and InvITs. So alternatives are also picking up. Do you think that these products are going to helpful for growing customers' wealth as well as the AUM for the asset management companies?
See, you become, you have to, in mutual fund industry, the common man is coming in. So as you grow, you need to be conscious that the common, whenever I look at the any product in the mutual fund space, I have to sign off that it is the right product for the retired school teacher, right? That's the consciousness that one needs to keep, that there is in a small town of India, the amount of transactions that are coming from the small towns. So we have to be very conscious on risk management. So as you grow in size, you should be conscious you are running a risk management company. we are lucky to be in a country like India where nominal growth, we can have debates, but nominal growth will be around 9 to 10%. If we are in a country of nominal growth of 9 to 10%, our customer is very happy if he gets double digit growth, right? So in that context, business should not be that difficult, or as long as you don't make mistakes. I think we are lucky to be in a country like India that as long as you don't make big mistakes, the since over a long period, the companies grow, the earning per share grow with the nominal growth of the country. It is not, the risk management needs to be in place, and that is extremely important rather than trying to do great things. This one, if you protect your downside well, I think the industry tends to grow well, and that's what I think AMCs should be focusing on. If you focus on risk management well, the growth is there. So there is another way, and SEBI has encouraged it also. If you see, people ask me, why do you have got so many products? It is so important that you spread your AUM into various products, into various styles of fund management. So when you have spread amongst various products and various styles, it benefits the customer. There is a whole range of products that he can take from. And one of the nice things that SEBI has introduced is this SIFs, where customer segmentation can happen. So if there are products, if there are HNIs who want to take more risk, then you can do it in PMS space, where you can do it in AIF space, and mutual fund can be kept with a low risk product. So that's what we have always done. So when we have got products which have got relatively high risk return flavor, then we go towards alternate products. And alternates, you can do PMS, you can do AIFs, and maybe you can run concentrated strategies. So if the risk levels are going up in certain strategies, it is better to do in the alternate space. And people are happy to take incremental risk for the incremental return that they can get. I'll give you in the debt space. If you come into the mutual fund space, of course you have to go only up for AA rated customers and AAA rated customers. But if you want to run a credit fund, do it in the alternate space. Real estate funds can be managed in the alternate space. Commercial real estate is another asset class that SEBI has approved, and it is encouraging, where all these GCCs who have come into the country, how does the common man in India, or how do the investors in India benefit by the GCCs coming into the country? The GCCs have appointed 50,000 people, 1 lakh people, and they've got so many buildings, but they don't own the buildings. So it's a very good opportunity that investors can own the building. You get a yield of 8%, almost 7 to 8% is the yield that you get when you lease out. There is a escalation clauses. So instead of investing in debt, today there is an option that can somebody invest in commercial real estate and get returns in tins, right? So that's the advantage of having a huge number of asset classes, and also investment in alternates becomes very important at the point of time.
Yep. Thank you for elaborating on the alternate investment opportunities. I think as a responsible asset manager, we get overwhelmed with the equities and returns on the equities, but as a responsible asset managers, you guys have been talking about the asset allocation and investment solutions rather than just about the specifics on the equities only. Do you want to give us some insights on the asset allocation and investment solution, and how they can actually be more meaningful and impactful for the investee community?
See, we have been talking about since last 15 years, we have been talking the same thing. We have realized that while the common man in India, especially in the mutual fund space, talks about investing in equity, his ability to take volatility is not that high, and people have forgotten that equity markets are very volatile, and you can have a extended period where returns may not be that good. People have forgotten because since 2014, we have only seen markets over a period of time. Even in the current war situation, people are so confident that ultimately it's a V-shaped recovery that people talk about. So I find the investors more confident than the fund managers most of the times. So in that scenario, somewhere I don't believe the investors can take as much volatility that equity market gives. So we have always tried since last 15 years as a responsible AMC, we have tried to mix equity and debt, right, in various proportion. So today, and mutual fund is a very good vehicle from a tax efficiency point of view. We are not taxed as vehicles at all. So if you are investing on a dynamic asset allocation where you move from equity to debt, you are continuously buying or selling. If the market goes up, you are selling. If the market goes down, you are buying. The trading itself is tax free. So I think it's a very good strategy that your your equity levels should decrease or increase with the levels of the market, and if you create algorithms for that, and it should be to a great extent, since last 15 years the asset allocation in say ICICI Prudential is been done based on algorithms and not by any human intervention, right? The algorithms decide how much equity we keep, algorithms decide how much debt we keep, and it has worked beautifully. In COVID times, I remember in my asset allocation product like balance advantage fund, the range is from 30 to 80. In COVID times, the allocation had reached 78%, and in September 2024, the allocation was 30%. So the no human interventions, no emotions, and the algorithm is able to decide the equity and debt component. And with that, the customer has got a brilliant experience. Almost he has got 90% of the index return by only investing around 50% into equities. That's the kind of experience that we have had over the years. So I believe asset allocation strategies, whether it is a balance advantage strategy or with the multi-asset strategies that we have come up with, all those are making a very good sense for the customer. Almost 1/3 of our equity assets today are in this dynamic asset allocation category.
I can vouch for the same as I'm on the other side of the table. I have seen ICICI Prudential senior management and even teams at the ground have been talking more about the asset allocation than some of the other players in the market, and they've always been advocating multi-assets also when particularly equity as an asset class was doing well. ICICI Prudential AMC was running a campaign on multi-asset products. So that's something very credible because, Nimesh has rightly alluded to that in India, the stomach to navigate the volatility and prolonged negative or low return is very limited, though everyone wished to be in the equities, but they can't stomach the volatility. And as you have seen in the last month or so, we've seen a significant correction. Last 18 months, equity as an asset class have been underperforming. So some of these initiatives by ICICI Prudential have been really credible. Nimesh, do you see regulatory ecosystem as an enabling ecosystem, or you see challenges because of the regulatory environment?
I always said, I started with that I believe that the mutual fund industry is growing today so well is only because the product has been created very well for the customer. The regulators have been very alert about it. I'm very happy to say that every year my margins keep on going down, right? And I'm saying I'm very happy to say that because the customer is getting a good deal. See, our ability, we should be able to charge only with respect to our ability to generate alpha. So when my products grow in size and they charge lesser and lesser to the customer, I believe the business is more sustainable. Because only if you charge less, you will be able to leave something for the customer. So mutual fund industry overall is charging way less than any other industry, and that is becoming constructive for the customer, and that is why we are growing. And we are not doing it on our own. The regulator has created a regulatory framework that as you grow in size, you charge less to the customer. So that is, maybe I can complain that from my business, operating leverage goes out, but at least my business will sustain long because the customer is getting a good deal. So I'm very happy to say that my margins keep on going down every year. As a businessman also, it makes sense that margins go down, but profits go up because what margins go down, volumes take care of it. Yeah. So it's a win-win for all. The customer is getting a good product at a very low expense. My margins are going down, but I am compensated by a bigger volume, and everybody is happy with that.
Great. I think I have never heard this kind of optimistic and positive remarks on margins coming
But
down.
that is
by
true.
a
It's not
CEO.
remarks. It is true. Look at the last 5 years, 7 years.
Yeah.
Our margins have kept on going down and our profitability keeps going up. So it's a good, if you charge less, it is best for both the customer and you for you.
Yeah. Great. So I want to ask one last question to you. I want you to leave us with one thought on one principle that will be beneficial to investors and asset managers, both.
One thought. So we always talk only about one thing. We talk about dynamic asset allocation. So I believe it is very important with the way debt taxation happens in the country. You cannot allocate money to debt and pay full taxation on it. So if there is one thought, dynamic asset allocation makes a lot of sense, whether it is in the multi-asset form. Debt also becomes tax efficient if you do in the dynamic asset allocation form. So that's what I have always been advocating, and that I continue doing that.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much, Nimesh, for
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.